When I watch The Color Purple now and I see your character, as a father, as a grown man, I see a beautiful young Black girl who's so talented, who's a young teenage girl, who's playing a teenage girl, but who's so talented. But I think about young Celie and how she's depicted in the movie and
Mhm.
the name she's called, how she's described as being the opposite of beautiful, the opposite of strong and gorgeous. Did that take a toll on you as a young girl when when you walked away from filming that after stepping so deeply into that character?
No,
Wow.
that's not what took a toll. What took a toll was real life um, drama. Like for instance, right after that movie, I was raped, and to this day, in my mind, it was by a fan because there was too many inkling things. Um, it was date rape, but back at that time, they didn't have that term.
Mm.
So it was kind of like, how do you know this person and you was on a date or with them or so it
Were you
it was
still,
right.
you were raped? Were you still a teenager?
Yes. It was about just about 2 years or a year and a half after the movie released. And it was very kind of like impactful because at the time coming back trying to go to auditions, now I that's when it's kind of like I had this fragile this thing like I couldn't get past the rape, and the
Mm.
rape led to a pregnancy, and my mother was very much like, well, it's your fault in a way because I mean, you knew the person, but it was going back into the industry trying to find myself through this trauma, and then hearing things or being told that um you're too dark, or you no, this is not. um I needed to heal. I needed to walk away from that at the time. I needed, I started that's when I noticed, like those comments might have took more of effect when they were like, oh, she ugly, or, like the comments from the, making comments about the movie or referring to my beauty or referring to my worth. That is when it became overwhelming, or going to casting and or in Hollywood being in situations that you didn't have an adult to kind of like fight for you or make sure you're okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So it was then when things kind of got like, okay, I need to kind of pull back and heal. I've got to find who I am, what's going on with me, why am I just in this mode of survival.
Well, I mean, thank you, one, for saying and for sharing that you were raped, because that is, it's powerful. It happens. There are so many young, beautiful young girls that are victims of rape and that don't feel the power to speak about it. And what's interesting is when I watched The Color Purple back when I was a kid, that was the first time I saw a rape scene. When Mista is on top of young Celie, and she's underage, but it's fun. It's mind-boggling to know that you actually endured that after the movie wrapped, that you were raped. It's what do they call that? Art imitating life, or life imitating art.
Well,
Unbelievable. You had to go
I
through
don't think so. Well, I won't say that part because it was a completely different kind of um
situation.
situation. It
Gotcha.
it was a violent um it was totally different.
Okay.
Um and that goes back to, I think, what we would say when you say why was it so powerful though? There were so many of us, young women and young men, that were being mistreated, abused, and we had to accept it
Mm.
and didn't know that we was accepting it. And even if we did know, how do we get out of it? How do you stop, when the abuser is somebody that you have to you depend on for life, for food, for you know. So I think in real life, from The Color Purple, there were so many people, like what you said. It was the first time I saw that. And
Mm,
some people was like, yeah, I've never, that happens to me. That's happened to me. That's what I'm going through right now. And I've never shared it. I
wow.
never even knew other people was going through it.
Well, I think it's beautiful that you're sharing it, and I hope that you know you can be somebody who becomes an advocate for others that went through that because it happened on screen. We saw that character and the trauma that that young girl went through in The Color Purple, but to know that you went through a situation as a young teen, equally as traumatic, if not
Yeah.
more, is powerful. So thank you for sharing that.